Hi, I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation and welcome back to the Hive. In this video, following on some more from the Switchbot curtain motors that we reviewed previously, we'll be taking a look at this Switchbot Hub. As always, we'll look around the box, we'll get it out of the box, we'll pair it up and we'll see what new functionality it adds to our Switchbot setup. So while I roll the intro, why don't you take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when I release new videos each week. While you're at it, if you like what I do here and you want to support the channel, there's some affiliate links to smart home gadgets that you can buy for your own smart home and support the channel at the same time. Or you can support the channel directly through my Buy Me a Coffee link. Of course, those affiliate links and my Buy Me a Coffee link can be found on my website, hivemindautomation.com.au. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. So over the past few weeks, we've looked at a lot of Switchbot devices and they're all connected using Bluetooth Low Energy. Now, while Bluetooth is pretty ubiquitous, it does introduce some limitations in the smart home context. For instance, if your phone isn't in Bluetooth range of the device that you want to control, then you're out of luck. And if you're wanting to set up more than a handful of scheduled events, there's also going to be some limitations there. And the last obvious one that comes to mind is not being able to make use of things like smart speakers like Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant. As we've seen in previous videos, we can use Home Assistant to interface with these devices if we've got Bluetooth configured on our Home Assistant, and that then mitigates all of these problems. But what if you don't have Home Assistant? Or, like in my case, you've got the new Switchbot Curtain 3 that doesn't seem to be properly integrated with the Switchbot integration in Home Assistant just yet. That is where this Switchbot Hub 2 comes in. Now, once again, Switchbot were kind enough to send this unit to me along with the Switchbot curtains, and you can get your own for $69.99 US or around 173-ish Australian. There's going to be some affiliate links along with a discount code in the video description if you want to pick up your own Switchbot Hub 2 or some of the other Switchbot accessories as well. The Switchbot 2 is not only a hub for your Switchbot gadgets, but it does include some great additional features as well. Firstly, it includes a temperature and humidity sensor, and it does display that information on the built-in display on the front here that you can see that I've got on the second camera here. It also is an infrared blaster that can be used to control any infrared-enabled device like TVs, set-top boxes, air conditioners, etc. It's got dual kind of touch buttons on the front as well to trigger different events with touch. And that can be either triggering other Switchbot devices or a preset infrared command. And something I'm really excited about here is that this Switchbot Hub is also Matter enabled, meaning that all of our Switchbot accessories should also then become available to any Matter compatible smart home system, theoretically also including Home Assistant. That should then mean that we may, in fact, be able to get our Switchbot Curtain 3s into Home Assistant. Now, in terms of prerequisites, you pretty much really only need Wi-Fi for the Switchbot Hub here. The Switchbot app is also going to be required and an account with the Switchbot app. Of course, it's unlikely that you're going to be looking at getting one of these if you don't already have other Switchbot accessories, so your mileage is obviously going to vary on the prerequisites, but I'm going to assume that you're probably already going to have Switchbot accessories if you're purchasing one of these, or you maybe are buying it as part of a starter kit. So let's start, as always, with a look around the outside of the box. Now, we saw before that we've got a picture of the unit on the front, and you might be able to make out that it's got white display here on a white background, which interesting choice, but that's okay. Switchbot Hub 2, your all-in-one smart home hub. So it enables all of these voice assistants as well, including IFT and SmartThings. So it's for your other accessories to then have those things enabled. On the right hand side, we've got scene launch buttons, smart home hub, smart IR remote, and a built-in meter. On the back, works as part of Switchbot ecosystem. So we can use the Switchbot app over 4G, 5G, or Wi-Fi to the cloud, and then back to our Switchbot hub to trigger either Bluetooth devices or infrared devices here. So it demonstrates here the Bluetooth lock, keypad, blind, bot, curtain, contact sensor, motion sensor, or other. And for infrared, it mentions light, air conditioner, projector, fan, TV, water heater, or camera. Or I didn't think about the camera. Interesting. We've got some compliance data here, website, email address, QR code there. On this left-hand side, we've got voice commands that we can use. So we could say, turn on the living room air conditioner, turn off the living room air conditioner, or turn on my TV with any of the three assistants there. It's worth mentioning that it seems to enable Siri shortcuts there. That's the Siri shortcut symbol, so just something to be aware of. On the top, we've just got the Switchbot branding there. And on the bottom, we've got some specifications. So Hub 2 color white, material is ABS. Our size is 80 by 70 by 23 millimeters, or 3.1 by 2.8 by 0.9 inches. 63 grams, or 2.2 ounces. It takes 5 volts at 2 amps, so I'm guessing it's probably a USB connection there. Operating temperatures between -20 and +40 degrees C. Operating humidities between 0 and 90% relative humidity. Network connectivity is 802.11bg or N on a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So your Wi-Fi does need to be 2.4 gigahertz. It's also got Bluetooth low energy there. System requirements, iOS 11 or higher, Android OS 5 or higher. And we've got some details of the temperature sensor there. So our resolution, our temperature range, humidity range, and the accuracy for both the temperature and humidity accessory there. So with the outside of the box covered off, we can now open up the box. And as always with Switchbot, we've got the sticky dot on the bottom of the box. There's also one on the top of the box here. I'll go in from the bottom though, that's okay. We'll peel that back. And I'll just grab this screwdriver here so that we can just get under this edge here and pull that flap back. So we can open up the box like so, and that appears to be the hub itself. I'll pop that just over here. We'll pull out this cardboard cradle, and underneath we've got another box. So we'll pop that aside. I will slip the hub itself outside of the biodegradable plastic there. And you can see the hub there. I'll put that aside, see what's inside this box. Just use this screwdriver to get these tabs out. And it is an Australian power adapter. And we've got our cable here, which is USB type A to USB type C. So this is a USB type A power adapter, and they've included a USB A to USB C cable. I will ask the question why it couldn't just be a USB type C connection on the power adapter. That's okay though, I can live with it. And if we open up the rest of the box, we've got some VHB tape, presumably to stick the unit to a wall. We've got the support card, so looking for help. It's got their social media details there and their website, and on the back, how to get help, so the support email address and the QR code. There's another little strip of VHB tape there as well, and we've got our user manual. So we can see what's in the box. We've got the hub, the power adapter, the cable. And the cable actually includes the temperature and humidity sensor, so that's a little bit interesting. 3M adhesive tape for the temperature and humidity sensor, and a 3M adhesive tape there after sales card, user manual. Got the details of the unit there. The type C port is behind the stand. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Preparation. We'll pop those away for now, and we'll take a look at the hub itself. So I'll take the rubber band off the cable here, and we'll just unravel it a little bit. So we can see here that this little blob on the cable is actually our temperature and humidity sensor. So it's interesting that it is separate from the hub itself. I didn't realize that was going to be a thing. That's okay, I guess. I guess they don't want to necessarily include it in the hub in case the hub warms up a little bit, I guess, and could potentially skew the results there. So just looking at the unit itself, it's ABS plastic. It's kind of a textured feel. It's not the shiny feel that you might expect some of these kinds of devices to be. It feels okay. Unfold this little flap at the back, we get access to the USB Type-C port that's in there, and I will just take the USB-C cable and plug that in there. And then if we wanted to, we can fold that back down, and we can use this section here with the compliance labels to use that VHB tape to stick the unit to the wall if we wanted to, or we can just stick that out like so and have it kind of just stand on a flat surface like so. I'm just going to, for now, fold that up, and I will go and plug the unit in to power. Okay, so with the unit powered up, we got a little bit of a beep there, and the display is on. So with the display on, we've got a white flashing LED there. We've got 47% humidity there, 28 degrees apparently. We've got off and on buttons there, so we can tap those off and on buttons. And when I tapped off there, it actually switched off the display. So that's kind of interesting. So with the device powered on now and out of the box, we can take a look at pairing the hub into our Switchbot app. So if I tap the plus button and tap add device, so now that we've tapped add device, you see we've got scanning for Bluetooth devices nearby, and we've got hub 2. And I tap hub 2, and it tells us to press and hold the 2 touch buttons for 2 seconds until the indicator light starts flashing. The indicator light's already flashing, but I'll just do it anyway. So it's now flashing a fair bit more rapidly, so it was worth doing that. So we'll tap next on the app. It's connecting to the device. It only supports 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. If it's a 5 gigahertz network, we need to set it as 2.4 and enter the password. This particular Wi-Fi is a dual mode Wi-Fi, so it may work. I will be interested to see if it does. What we can do though is select a different Wi-Fi. I can choose the HiveMind IoT network, which is 2.4 gigahertz only. I'm going to enter the password in for this network. And with that password entered in for the HiveMind IoT network, which is 2.4 gigahertz only, we can also see our Bluetooth Low Energy and Wi-Fi MAC addresses there. If we needed to create a DHCP static IP reservation, we could do that there. We don't need to right now. We'll just tap next, and it's going to connect to the device, and it's trying to connect to the router there. So it's asking if I want to save my password to the iCloud keychain. I'm going to tap not now, because that was really just the Wi-Fi details. I don't really need to save that. So we now get to add the name to the hub. I'll call this Switchbot Hub, and I'll pick a room. It's in the dining room. We'll confirm that there, and I'll tap save. So we've got done. I can tap OK. And now we've got our Switchbot Hub, and the hub is also reading temperature and humidity details here in the dining room. So if I were to drill into that, we've got the 28 degrees C room humidity is 60%. And it's also detecting the light level. So if I cover that, is that going to go down? It doesn't seem to be doing what I was expecting. But it does say tap this card to view detailed room temperature, humidity, and light data. So if I tap OK on that, we can tap the card and we can actually view detailed data. So the actual temperature with a decimal point, the humidity, we can see absolute and dew point and vapor pressure deficit data as well, much like we could with the thermohygrometer. And we can load more data or we can export data, or we can clear the data, and we can also select the time range that we want to see that for. Infrared appliances. So we haven't added any remote control, but we can add a remote control and we can choose an appliance there. So let's say air conditioner, for example, and we can do either smart matching, select manually, or learn buttons for this. So smart matching is the most convenient way to add remote controls. Make sure not to block the infrared signal sent by your remote control to your hub. If I grab the remote for the air conditioner in this room and tap smart matching, place your remote control near your hub, make sure there are no obstacles in between and your hub works normally, start matching. When the light on your hub goes off, or when you hear a prompt tone, if you use the ceiling light, point your physical remote to control to your hub and press any button on it. So I will press the on-off button on this remote. Failed to match. Let's try match again. And press the temperature button. So it found 3 templates. Test a template and select the one that works for your air conditioner. Got it. So template 1, tap the power button and see if your air conditioner has responded accordingly. So I need to just go not working. It doesn't appear to be doing anything. So we'll try again with template 2. Again, not working. Template 3. Template 3 doesn't appear to be doing anything either. I'll tap not working on that. We can either select manually or learn buttons here. So if I were to hit select manually, I might be able to scroll through here and find Panasonic. And if I were to look at the model number on the air conditioner remote. So if we can't actually find the model that we're after, we can go to learn buttons, set your physical remote control. We can go next and set your virtual remote control. So set each value to the same as you did on your physical remote control by tapping the buttons below. So at the moment it's set to 20, auto, confirm, and now if I tap the virtual button below, tap off to start learning your virtual button. So learn your remote controls off button. So if I point the remote at it and press off, turn the air conditioner on. Now if I point the infrared unit there and tap the off button, that worked. So we can save that button. Now we can continue learning on. So if I tap on, it's now learning, and I can tap the on button on the remote. It got that button. Now we can test that button, and that worked. So we can now save that button, and we'll tap save. So we've got on and off. We can select a room. I will create a room because that is in the lounge. I'll tap yes, and we're done. So we'll select lounge room, and we can save that. So we've saved that remote control, and we can turn it on and off if we wanted to. Now we don't have the controls for the cool, the heat, the fan, etc. So we've got off and on. That's really all we need for the remote at this time. We may be able to go through and teach it some additional buttons later if we wanted to. I will need to investigate that a bit further though. I'll back out. So we've got the infrared appliances there, and we could drill into the cog, change the name. We can turn off showing the invalid buttons, whether or not we get a key vibration, and show ambient data there. We've got logs, we've got the different voice assistants as well, or we can delete the appliance there. I may explore setting up the other buttons in a separate video, but for now we'll just leave it at the on and off. Back to the Switchbot Hub page here itself, and we've got different things that we can do here with the buttons as well. So we can add a scene for the button on and button off. So at the moment, it's backlight control. So when turned off, touch buttons only trigger assigned scenes. So we can turn the backlight control off, and we can select a scene. We would have to create a scene to then trigger that. So I think we might have created a scene with the, so when your conditions are met, manual execution, we can add an action. We can do something like the air conditioner. We can turn the air conditioner on, and we could then edit the scene name, aircon on, and we can give it an icon, and we'll tap create. So that's created a quick scene, which is aircon on. We can add another scene here, add an action, air conditioner off. We'll call it aircon off. Okay, create that. So we've got aircon on and aircon off actions. If we go into the Switchbot Hub and we can tap OK here, and we can go into button off. We could turn the backlight control off, and we can tap aircon off and then save. So now that would turn the aircon off, and we can turn that off as well and make the aircon on. So now we have aircon off and aircon on buttons on the Switchbot Hub. So if I tap on, it will do the blast there, and it beeps on the device itself as well. And if I tap aircon off, it will send the aircon off signal as well. So that's the controls there. I mean, we could add more infrared appliances there if we wanted to. If I tap the cog in the top right-hand corner, we've got the settings. So we've got our Switchbot Hub details there. We've got Wi-Fi settings, so we can see the Wi-Fi SSID and the Wi-Fi MAC address, the IP address, and the network status. We've got our display settings. So we've got our data source here. We can change the data source, but it requires a firmware upgrade. I'll cancel that for now. We'll do the firmware upgrade later. Okay, so we've got some different things here. We can turn the indicator light off, or we can have it stay on, or we can have it light up only when controlled. So that's kind of interesting there. We can show temperature and humidity readings, and I can turn that off if I want. We've got our touch button light. We can turn those off if we want, and we can also turn on auto adjust brightness. So in a brighter room, it's going to bring the display up. If I turn that off, it's brought the display brightness down fairly significantly. So it seems like it can react to the ambient light as well and be either brighter or darker dependent on the amount of light in the room. And we've got sound, so we can turn that off so that now if I tap the on button, for example, it does not make the beep, and I've just turned sound back on. We can back out of display settings. We've got do not disturb. At the moment, that's not going to work because it needs a firmware upgrade, but it says do not disturb. Your hub panel 2 dims and silences all device sounds and alerts. To check the temperature and humidity, you can press the on button on the panel. Like with the thermohygrometer, we've got desired conditions, and we can get alerts based on sound and light. So flashes only or flashes with beeping when the different alarm conditions are met. So we can have a temperature alert if it's outside of the range that we select here. We can get a humidity alert if it's outside the range that we select here. I feel like the thermohygrometer was set up better for this, where the default ranges were certainly more appropriate. The absolute humidity alert we can get there, dew point alert, and the VPD alert. I won't save any of those, that's okay. We've got calibration. So again, like the thermohygrometer, we can calibrate the temperature and humidity of this sensor. And now we've got cloud services. And because we've got the hub here, we can turn on different cloud services. So I might want to turn on the Siri shortcuts, and we can see here, we can choose a phrase to Switchbot Hub get status with Switchbot. So if I were to tap record phrase and go Switchbot Hub get status, and then you can see shortcut added to say this phrase. I'm going to change that, Switchbot Hub get status, and we'll tap done on that. I'm going to hold the power button down to trigger Switchbot Hub get status.
Okay, done.
So now we see we've got the alert from Siri there that showed us the Switchbot Hub status. So it's kind of cool from the cloud services there. We've also got our NFC. We can pair an NFC tag there and control the infrared there. We've got our Matter setup now. Matter setup is in beta, and it does require a firmware upgrade. We'll do that a bit later. We've got our logs. We've got our user guide. So that takes us to the website for the user guide. Our firmware version, that's going to update, and 0.503. We're going to need to update that shortly, and we've got device info. So we've got our BLE address and the Wi-Fi MAC address. Now it is worth mentioning as well here that the Switchbot Hub is not supported in the Home Assistant integration. If I go back to my Home Assistant here, we'll see we've got it's showing up as a light strip. So it knows that it's a Switchbot device, but it is showing up as a light strip, which is a little bit strange, but that's fine. I'm not too worried about that right now. So what I am worried about though is the Matter setup. I know it's in beta, but I'm going to tap that. It's asking me to upgrade the firmware. I'm going to tap OK on that. It's an important firmware upgrade. Place your phone close to your Switchbot device. I'm going to proceed to upgrade. So this is going to take a couple of minutes to upgrade the Switchbot Hub. And when it has done that, we should be able to use Matter with our Switchbot devices. Right, so we just got a beep. It says 100% done on the phone, upgraded successfully now. Tap finish, and we are now up to date. I'll check the firmware version now. So we've got 1.009, whereas it was a different number before. If I go into Matter Setup Beta, it says make sure you have everything needed to use Matter. You need to have the Switchbot Hub 2, an iPhone with iOS 16 or higher, a HomePod mini or an Apple TV. Make sure that the app or device versions are as follows. So the Switchbot app needs to be 625.1 or higher. The firmware needs to be 0705 or higher. And the HomePod mini needs to be 16.1 or higher. And it includes 4 easy steps. So I'll tap next. And we need to enter Matter setup mode. So before adding Hub 2 to the Home app, you need to reset it first. So I need to press and hold the on and off buttons on the device panel for 15 seconds until all of the lights go out. Wait for the panel lights to come back on and the indicator light to slowly flash, and then it will be in Matter setup mode. So I'm going to do that now. So I'll press and hold these for 15 seconds. Okay, so all of the lights have gone out for a second there. And it says wait for the panel lights to come back on and the indicator light to slowly flash. The hub is now in Matter setup mode. Tap next to view how to add the Matter enabled device in Home app. I'll tap next and add Matter enabled device to a third-party platform. Copy the device's Matter setup code. So I will copy that. It says copied successfully. Navigate to the third-party platform and open Matter enabled device. So I'm going to open up my Apple Home app here. I'm going to tap plus, add accessory, and I'm going to tap on more options here. And you can see we've got Hub 2 in the nearby section here. So if I tap Hub 2 and then paste in the setup code that we've got there, that we copied, and I'll just go to the end there. I'll tap continue, and it may take a few minutes. Okay, great. So it has detected the bridge, and we can choose where we want to put the bridge. I'm going to put this in the dining room. I'll tap continue, and I'm just going to call it Switchbot Hub. I'll tap continue, and bridge added to the Hive. So we'll tap continue there. Matter accessory 2, this humidity sensor is connected to Switchbot Hub 2. We'll tap continue, and we'll put that in the dining room. Continue again, and we'll go Switchbot humidity. I'm going to assume this is the Switchbot Hub humidity, so I'll tap continue on that. A humidity sensor added to the Hive. Matter accessory 3, this temperature sensor is connected to Switchbot Hub 2, so we'll go continue. Dining room, go Switchbot Hub temperature. Tap continue on that. Done. Okay. So now if I go into my dining room here, we've got temperature is between 27.0 and 27.5, and the humidity is apparently 43%. So we've got both our humidity sensor and our Switchbot Hub humidity sensor showing 42% there. And the dining room Switchbot Hub is 27.5 and the temperature sensor is 27. If I drill into the temperature there, we can see some information there about the sensor. We can see the bridge, the Switchbot Hub 2 bridge is showing in the default room. Move that to the dining room there. And we've got the manufacturer's Switchbot Hub 2, and the Force. And we can turn on pairing mode or remove it from home. I'm going to turn on pairing mode, and I'm going to copy the code. And that should mean that we can use the Home Assistant app here. So at the moment, my Home Assistant app is on my production instance. If I swipe across with 3 fingers, we'll end up on our demo instance, and we have a sneezing cat who has decided to come and get some attention. I will see how we go here. So now that we've got our app open, our Home Assistant app, whiskey, cheeky, we can go into settings here, and I will go to devices and services, add integration, add Matter device, and I'll tap more options. I'll tap more options here, and nearby we've got Hub 2, and I'm going to paste the code that we just copied from the HomeKit app, and I'll tap continue. Home Assistant would like to add this accessory to Home Assistant. I'll tap add to Home Assistant. Okay, so we have accessory name. I'll call it Switchbot Hub 2. Continue. Accessory added to Home Assistant. Done. So now we've got the Switchbot Hub 2 showing up in Home Assistant in our app. If I go to my Home Assistant on the computer here, and we'll go to Matter, we've got 7 devices in Matter, and we've got humidity sensor, temperature sensor, and Switchbot Hub 2. If I drill into Switchbot Hub 2, you'll see that we've got our humidity sensor and temperature sensor there. We can drill in, and we've got 42% on humidity, 27.5% on temperature. So with the hub now in Home Assistant, I'm curious if we can now get other accessories into here. So back in the Switchbot app, if I tap next, we can add secondary devices to Hub 2. So after successfully adding Hub 2 to Home app, you can add Switchbot devices as secondary devices to be controlled in the Home app. You can do this in your Hub 2's Matter setup page. So after adding secondary devices, switch the Home app and the devices will show up. Due to network stability, there may be delays in syncing. I'll tap connect. We'll tap done out there. So back in the Switchbot app now that we've finished everything there, we've got our Matter setup code there in the QR code form on screen. And we can save that as a picture, or we can copy the code. And now we've got how to use Matter link there as well. And we can add secondary devices. So if I tap add, what I really want to add here is the dining room window. So if I tap plus next to the dining room window, we've got added there, and straight away in our connected devices in Home Assistant, we've got window covering. So now that we've got window covering in here, we've got controls. If I open that up, what happens if I press this button? Not a lot. Okay, so that seems to change the mode. If I press this button, still seems to be unavailable. So I'm not sure what's going on there, why that's not showing up. I can also add the bot. So if I turn on the bot, make that available there as well. Back out here, on off light is showing up as the bot. So I can click that, and it's having a little trouble. Oh no, so the bot has actually worked there. It took a little while, but the bot does move when we trigger it from Home Assistant in with the Matter configuration there. So that's cool. If I back out here, maybe if I back all the way out and go into the dining room window and go to more. Okay, so now we've got a hub has been found near your device. We can turn on cloud services for this device to experience more features, for example, scenes. I'll go to set and we can see we've got cloud services. We can turn that on and we've got the hub ID there is showing up as Switchbot Hub. And we can enable those third-party services. But now I'd be interested, now that we've turned that hub connection on, if I go back out to Switchbot Hub 2 and then go to window covering, if I were now, yeah, it looks like it might be available now. So if I press the open cover button, so it has taken a second, but it is now opening the curtains from Home Assistant. And we can now close the curtains as well using Home Assistant. And obviously now with that Matter control and these devices in Matter, we should also be able to find these devices in Home as well. I think they're probably going to be maybe in default room. Let's go down here. Okay, so what we can see here is we've got Matter accessories closed. So Matter accessory 4, if I drill in there, I can change this name. This is going to be dining room curtain. I think this is going to be dining room curtains. I'll move this from the default room to the dining room. I'll tap done. And the floppy cat will flop everywhere. I'll back out here, and now if I swipe up, it has triggered the opening of the curtains. Okay, so it opens the curtains, it will close the curtains, I hope. Well, that was a bit of a fail. We'll try that again. Okay, so failed there. Not sure what's happening. So for whatever reason, when triggered from HomeKit, it kind of got stuck at 68%. I don't know why that is, but that's okay. The curtains are now closed. It worked great with Home Assistant. Something weird in HomeKit there just didn't quite work. So I'm not too sure what that's about. So then we've got Matter accessory settings. So Matter accessory 5, this is going to be the Switchbot bot. So I'll type in Switchbot bot. We'll tap done on that, and I'll just shove this cat out of the way here, and we'll go okay there. And where did you go? Switchbot bot. I can tap that, and the Switchbot bot has actuated. And we can drill in, go to settings, and I'll put that here. At the moment, I'll put that into the dining room, and we can move that later if we want to. So it's truly excellent that we now have access to not only the Switchbot bot with Apple Home over Matter, but also to the dining room curtains there as well. Now, the one last thing that I haven't quite sorted out here, so going back to our Switchbot app and going into Garage Meter, if I tap on the cog in the top right corner and go to Cloud Services, and I turn, it says a hub has been found, we'll go to set, and I can turn on Cloud Services. It's gone to the Switchbot Hub, and I can now theoretically go back to Switchbot Hub and go to the cog, go to Matter Setup, secondary devices. I should be able to tap there. It's not showing up as a secondary device. Cloud Services is on, Switchbot Hub is there. I mean, I can use the series shortcuts, but it doesn't appear to be showing up as one of the Matter items. It doesn't seem to have a firmware update, so I'm not too sure why the thermohygrometer is not showing up as an option for our unit here to then pass through as a Matter device. I'm not too fussed about it. I can live without it, but it would have been nice to have everything available on Matter. It may just need a software update for that to work there. The other thing I'm noticing is not available through Matter here. I'm not sure if it can trigger the infrared using the Matter integration there. So for whatever reason, the Switchbot thermo hygrometer is not showing up as an option to pass through with Matter, but that is okay. So that is the Switchbot Hub 2. Adding Matter support to our existing Switchbot gear is awesome, which is allowing us to interface with our accessories and Home Assistant without even needing to make use of the regular Home Assistant Bluetooth integration. And the theory with this Switchbot Hub is that it should be a little bit closer to some of our accessories, and so it should be able to connect more reliably, and Matter should be nice and responsive there. This also means that because it is a Matter integration, we should also now be able to expose the curtains to a command from something like Amazon Alexa or Google or even Siri, and that just makes life a little bit easier, especially for opening and closing the curtains as we need them. Do you like the Switchbot Hub whiskey? As always, let me know your thoughts on the Switchbot Hub in the comments section below. That's all we have for this video, and I do hope that it has helped you in your home automation and smart home journey. Be sure to drop a comment below with a home automation idea you'd like to see me cover in a future video. And don't forget to follow HiveMind Automation on Instagram and Facebook. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button down below to give it a like. And if you're not already subscribed, now is a great time to think about changing that. While you're at it, if you hit the bell icon, you'll get a notification when I release new videos, which is normally every week. Lastly, if you enjoy what I do here and you want to support the channel, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Any contribution you make through Buy Me a Coffee does get put towards making more and hopefully better content for you to enjoy. Don't forget to check out my website as well, hivemindautomation.com.au. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.